A president should have a huge vision of all the myriad of opportunities that he has in so many areas to improve things. We have so many things that have suffered from a lack of vision that need improvement and things which will solve problems before they come up for the future, preventing these problems from coming up and causing problems for future presidents. We need to deal with these now. So the president starts out with a huge vision. Not that he's going to get everything done, but with that huge vision, and then he lets that vision grow more and more as he sees more and more of what opportunities are available. And then lets his reflective ability go to work on how to solve those in the best way possible. We have great opportunities in education. Oh, I can't overemphasize all the great opportunities we have to improve education and make it more effective and make it reach more people and lower the cost. And then we have great opportunities in the area of our potential resources. Our best resources being our people. We have a great opportunity like never before because of the neglect of the past in developing our resources in the area of the disenfranchised people and the impoverished people and those that have been left out in the past. We have a great potential of developing those resources that have not been developed in the past, that are there for us now as just almost a diamond awaiting to be developed. A diamond, as I say it, in the rough that is waiting to be turned into a lucrative diamond. We have a great potential as if there was an oil well that hasn't yet even been started and hasn't even been found almost. But we know it's there, and a great potential to of an opportunity that has never even been utilized or reached to any extent before, that is just waiting to ready to develop, just like a great blossom waiting to blossom into large flowers and roses and things like this. We have that potential there. Because of the neglect in the past, that resource has not been utilized properly. We have that opportunity now to see that flourish like never before. Mainly because now the timing is right, and it can be done now like it could never be done before. That's the main reason. But then because the hunger is there like never before by certain classes of people and certain impoverished classes and certain races of people and that have been disenfranchised in the past, there is a undeveloped oil field ready to shower resources upon this country if we only knew how to develop and utilize them. So that is an area that the president needs to come in with a great vision for, and then increase that vision over and more as he goes along and as the development proceeds. Then there is the cities that serve as a great potential of developing to the extent that they will better serve the people and that they will grow in so many areas and become so much more effective, and that the leadership of those cities will be there is the opportunity of developing the leadership of the cities, providing more education to the cities, putting in more community colleges, putting in more resources, making more resources available for development, and generally achieving better neighborhoods, better control of crime, all of these things. The president should come in with a large vision of that. And then there's the job creation, of which there should be a lot of thought into entirely new types of jobs that can be created, not just creating more opportunity in the jobs that are there, but in creating new, entirely different jobs with new potential for satisfaction and reward like was never been there before. New occupations, new skill levels, new things in the area of, for instance, in the cybersecurity, 5G and Intel and all these kinds of things, intellectual research and R&D. And then we can develop and have a great vision for new technology and new types of technology, and bringing in new types of engineers and learning what can be engineered further. There's so many things that have come out that the engineers and so forth and the scientists have said we could develop this area so much more if we just had the funding to do so. The funding to do the research and development. Nanotechnology needs to be uh, miniaturization of the electronic devices and electronic components of the ICs and so forth, the chips that can be placed in our computers and our other machinery, other types of, everything from telephones to computers that can make them more effective and more miniature and bring the cost down. And then in medical technology, there really does need, I see a real dearth of actual vision when it comes to medical technology. We have some beautiful, wonderful medical technology now, MRIs, uh, proton emission tomography, and all of that kind of thing. SPECT, SPECT, single proton emission computer tomography. We have all these devices to control, to work with cancer and curing cancer like never before. So much better methods of doing dialysis for diabetes, and beginning to control that and beginning to find cures for that. All this potential is there, but a lot of times the funding is just not there for the research and development like it should be. So that should be a great vision there too. And as he begins to see what can be done, the vision will be continually expanded. And that is the main thing. You should expect it to continue to expand, not to just get in with a certain vision and start in on a certain program and just be fighting all the time just to get those done and never enlarging your vision to more things and just get concentrated on those things and to the exclusion of other things that you could be developing simultaneously. Having a lot of things, there's so many things that can be developed. So get a great vision and then determine that you're going to continue to increase that vision as you go. That's developing new medicines, research. Our new medicines is only limited by the amount of money we put into research. Actually, the cures of the diseases are actually limited by the amount of money we put into research and cures. Research and development, putting money into scientific research and development on everything for the future, all of the devices that'll make life easier, all of the medicines that'll help the disease, people to deal and alleviate diseases, all these different areas, developing new educational system to train doctors and nurses and medical people in areas which they've not even had the training in before. New areas that they can be trained in. New specialists that can be invested in them being able to gain these new specialties that will further help the medical field to not only help more people and do more in more areas, but also lower the cost. You should have a great vision on how to lower the medical cost for everybody, how to lower the medical cost on pharmaceuticals and so forth. And then there needs to be, a vision about alternative medicines. What can we do with alternative medicines? How many are there? Developing new alternative medicines. There's so many alternative medicines which will actually help people and would actually cost less than the medicines that we have now, the medical type of medical treatments that we're doing now. That could at least supplement the medical treatments in other instances. And then we need to have a great vision for the United Nations because it is being underutilized and the potential of which it was set up for is just simply not being used even to a small percentage of what it could be doing. They're concentrating on some small areas like global warming and climate change and things like that. And maybe, a few areas of development in other countries and so forth and so on. And, they do prevent certain skirmishes and wars from developing to shooting wars and things like that. But they're underutilized. Their potential is underutilized. And the corruption needs to be cleaned up. The departments need to be better organized, and more expert people, a vision of how to educate the people to be able to do more, to understand more and have a higher level of education and more able to develop the needed solutions. And then there's foreign policy. There's kind of a dearth sometimes, seemingly, and real understanding of what really needs to be done in so many areas of foreign policy. We don't really have the experts in foreign policy like we have had at times in the past, not to the same extent. And there's a lot of botching of foreign policy going on. And so we need to get a greater vision of that and get a greater vision of how we can educate students that may be going to go into foreign policy, may be able to go into foreign affairs, may be able to go into being foreign service officers or working for the Department of State or working for intelligence services and so forth and so on. And then they need to have a greater vision of how they can be educated to understand all of the dynamics of how everything has developed in the world and all the various countries of the world and all the different types of things that have caused the borders to be drawn the way they are and the countries to develop the way they are and the way the agreements and disagreements that they have with each other and the migrations that have come to the various countries that have caused and have exacerbated their problems and overrun and the way the countries are being overrun by too many migrants at times and things like that. Understanding the way Europe, works together with all of its countries and things like that and the way the markets and all and the systems like that go and the types of investment that we're doing in all the countries around the world. A greater vision of how that can all benefit the United States better. How can our foreign policy benefit the United States better? And how can we make sure that every little skirmish that we become involved in is something that has the potential of providing a greater vision to the world and a greater vision as to how to improve and add to the United States and its interest? How to make sure that the interest of the United States is upheld? It needs to have a great vision, a wonderful, great vision as to actually what the interests are of the United States in all these different situations. And then be looking at them and increasing the vision as he goes along. And just generally always open to new solutions, doing the reflection that it takes to continually have a mushrooming effect of a myriad of solutions continually coming into focus and working on putting that out and getting that developing. And then you'll be able to be accomplish so much more than we have in the past toward bettering the future for our country and all the other countries of the world. So I'm going to pray right now. Father, in the name of thy Holy Son, Jesus, develop a greater vision in all of our leaders as to how to better the future for the United States and all the countries of the world. And how to give our leaders more vision in so many different areas that is needed, how to develop technology, provide innovation, provide new jobs, new more rewarding jobs, developing our resources in every way possible. And now, my precious dear God, I pray in the name of thy Holy Son, Jesus, if people have some illness or some disease that they need to be healed of, incurable diseases, we are healers and we want to pray for them. And we will pray, and we're praying right now in the name of Jesus, they'll be raised up off their bed of sickness. They'll be raised up, put back into the full opportunities that they have, and have full health, complete health, full health right now, dear God, and give them all of the joy that they need, joy and happiness of every kind, mushrooming awareness and joy of every happiness that they can achieve. And dear God, now we just pray In the name of thy Holy Son, Jesus, heal, raise up, overcome oppression, depression, and obsession. In the name of thy Holy Son, Jesus, amen.